Let's create a tessellated terrain from scratch with QFX Terrain. First, be sure Terrain Toolbox is well installed in your project. If you need to install it, go to Package Manager. Select the Unity registry and scroll down to Terrain Tools. Terrain Tools is a preview package. In order to enable preview packages, you have to go to the Advanced Project Settings and be sure that Enable Preview Packages is activated. Now, let's create a terrain. Go to the Terrain settings. Click on Import Raw Texture. Select your height map. Adjust your height map settings. Click on Import. Reduce the height map resolution to 513 by 513 to get a smoother result. Let's check the pane features. Under Layers, you'll see there is no textures yet in the palette. You can create your own layers or use the predefined ones in the QFX package, already set up with PBR textures. Let's assign the predefined palette. Let's paint some crap to be sure all is working fine. Okay, cool. Save the scene to be able to check the generated splat maps of the current terrain. As you can see, these maps are almost empty, as we didn't paint much in it. But we can use splat maps exported from other softwares to shade this terrain. These maps can be applied with the Terrain Toolbox. First, be sure your splat maps are read/write enabled. Then, go open the Terrain Toolbox window. Under Terrain Utilities, you'll find a place where you can import your own splat maps. Add your splat maps. Select your terrain. Then click on the Apply to Terrain button. Go back to your scene view. Now your terrain is shaded with the right splat maps and you have a good base to start your terrain artwork. For now, the terrain is using the built-in Unity HDRP material, without tessellation support, but you can already start to paint on it and use all the common features. Don't pay attention to these errors. It happens when you click on your terrain. It doesn't have any impact on your project, but you won't be able to use undo features. Hope it can be fixed soon. Now, go to your terrain settings. As you can see, the terrain is using the default terrain material from the Unity HDRP package. We need to change that. Let's create a new folder for our materials. Let's create a new material. Give it a name. Select the custom QFX LayeredLit Tessellation shader. As you can see, the shader is working but its GUI is missing because of a limitation of built-in code access. To fix this, go to Window, QFX, Terrain and select Patch LayeredLit Shader GUI. Click Yes. Then, in order to help Unity to apply the changes, click outside and inside your editor window. This will trigger some errors but you can ignore them and repeat the operation a second time. Now your project is updating correctly. Let's check our custom terrain material. Cool. Our GUI is now working perfectly. We can now set up our new custom material. Set displacement mode to tessellation displacement. Unchecked, lock with object, and lock with height. Set start fade distance to 100. Set end fade distance to 200. Set layer count to 5. Assign your splat maps as layer masks. Now we can assign our materials to different color channels, based on the splat maps. Use the reset buttons to initialize your layers with the default parameters of the selected material. This is very useful to keep the tiling settings, for instance. The custom material is now ready. You can go to your terrain settings and apply this material to it. And voila! The terrain is now using tessellation for each of its layers. Let's apply some predefined HDR settings. Cool. Switch the shading mode to wireframe. We can see the tessellation isn't effective. To fix that, go to your material and increase tessellation factor to 30. Switch back to shaded view. Much better. Now let's play a bit with our tessellation parameters. Go to your main layer and change the amplitude value of one of your textures. It looks like all is working nicely. To be sure all the painting features are still working, go to your painting tools and draw some crap on the terrain with your brush. Cool. You are a real artist. Thank you very much for using QFX Terrain. See you soon.